All right, Lycan is here to help show you guys how to wash your alpaca wool. So Lycan has a bag full of alpaca wool just like you. And I have soap in this little container. My container looks a little bit different than your container, but I have the same amount of soap. It's just a tiny amount that you can just barely even see that it's in there. So we're gonna show you how to get the soap into the sink and then the wool and wash it out. So Lycan is going to, first of all, turn on the faucet and make sure that it's the right temperature. When you're washing any kind of wool, you don't want the water to be hot or cold. You want it to be just in the middle, lukewarm. So Lycan's going to get the temperature right. Oops, let me feel that. That feels good. And now he's going to plug up the sink. Nope, keep going. Plug it up. That's good. And now we're going to run this right under the faucet and pour it out. And that'll get the soap in. Keep doing it until you get all the soap out. And it doesn't take much soap to wash all this wool. All right, now that's probably good. So you can set that down. You probably want to keep the water down a little bit more. Probably this wool is going to soak up a lot of water. And you want it just on the warmer side. Okay, so go ahead and take the wool out and put it in. And you don't have to keep the brown wool and the white wool separate. You can just put it all in it together. So I'm going to turn that off. And so you just put it in and press it down. And you don't want to move it in there too much. You just want to lay it in and push it down, make sure it's wet. So go ahead and get all the wool out, Lycan, and put it in the sink. Here, let me dump this out. If you want to keep it separate, you could kind of put the brown wool on one side and the white wool on the other, but we're not going to worry about that too much. Okay, now we don't want to start scrubbing because that will make this felt up. We just want to make sure that I'm kind of picking it apart a little bit just so that it's not too thick and the water can reach all the fiber. All right, and now we can just let that sit. I'm actually going to put a little bit more water in so we can absorb some water. We can rinse off our hands. Okay, now we're going to leave that sit for about 15 minutes and then we'll come and take it out. Look at how dirty this water is getting. Ugh. I'm glad we're getting all this dirt out of the wool. Okay, stop. All right, our wool has been soaking for a while, so now it's time to take it out. We're going to, our water is super, super dirty. So we're just gonna start taking clumps of wool, and I'm not gonna wring it. I'm just going to gently squeeze out some of the water. And we don't need to rinse out the soap because this soap is special wool soap that has the oils in it that we want to keep in it. So if we really wanted to, we could wash this over again with a new batch of water and soap, but we're just gonna go ahead and wring this out, and then we're going to lay it on, squeeze it. That's right, we're not gonna wring it, we're gonna squeeze it. So Lycan, go ahead and start squeezing some out, and we're gonna lay it on this towel. Now you don't need to use your best towel for this, pretty dirty. Just an old towel is fine. So let's go quite quickly here. All right, so now, would you step off the towel? All right, right, so now we're going to fold this over. Come sit right here, Lakin. And then I'm gonna fold it over again. And now, Lakin, you're gonna roll this up. You're gonna squeeze out all the extra water. There we go. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. All right, and now that's good enough. A little bit it up, very carefully so we don't spread it all over. And now we're going to hang it to dry. And I have just a clothes drying rack sitting in my shower. I'm just gonna kind of drape it over there. We might have a little bit fall into the bottom there, but if I had thought ahead, I might have put a towel down below to catch some of that. That might be a good idea, because this is not very long fibers. If you have a sweater drying rack, that would work really well for this too. But you can just sort of drape it, or even you can even just sort of set it there to dry out if it's too short of fiber. Let's just leave that. I don't think it's gonna hang. And I don't want to pile it on here. I want to kind of let stuff spread out, so we'll leave that. All right, and we're just gonna let that dry.
When your wool is all dry, you're welcome to keep it and play with it, or use it for crafting or whatever you want to do with it. If you don't want it, you can also send it back to school and I will put it to good use. Have fun washing your wool.